the year 2012, in case anybody's counting. Press and public have been duly notified by your presence. Thank you all for coming. Purpose is to hear from the public on Ordinance 2012-04, an ordinance amending Title V, Planning and Development, Chapter 4, Zoning, Article 2, District Regulations, Sections 5-4-37, Table of Permitted Uses in the Commercial District, City of Isle of Palms Code of Ordinances to permit outdoor sale of food and beverage in the GC3 zoning district. I'll ask Douglas to give us a quick briefing, and then we'll see if there's any other comments.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance deals directly with the GC3 zoning district, and it deals specifically with the outdoor sale of food or beverage in that district. Currently, the city has 4 commercial districts: GC1, GC2, GC3, and LC. And under the current ordinance, three of those districts would allow a business owner to appeal to the Board of Zoning Appeals to allow outdoor sales, and one does not, and that one is GC3. So it's kind of been carved out of the code, and there's no provision that allows for an owner to go through the process of requesting the outdoor sale of food or drink or any other tangible property be approved. So this code would change that so that GC3 would now mirror exactly GC2. And the process would be that if an owner were wanting to sell food or beverage outside, they would have the right to apply to the Board of Zoning Appeals for a special exception. Currently, they do not have that ability, and this would change that. We think that what happened is a number of years ago, the city created the GC3 zoning district, and it's that district that's bound by 10th Avenue, Carolina, Pavilion, J.C. Long, and Ocean. And we believe that when the district was created, it was an oversight in addressing this other section of the code that includes these outdoor sale conditions. So the key parts are it only affects the GC3 district. It would also only allow owners to request the special exception, so nothing that this ordinance does would give an owner a blanket use to do that. They would still have to go through the process with the Board of Zoning Appeals, and the ordinance is specific that it would only be food and beverage, so it would not be other tangible goods like bikes or surfboards or anything of that nature.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, any questions from council, from Douglas? None heard? Anyone in the public wish to address this matter? Ooh. All right. Going. Gone. Well, thank you. We'll close the public hearing since there's no other comments to be brought forward, and we'll take this up in our regular session, which will begin at 7 promptly. Thank you. Public hearing is closed. He'll take care of it. He doesn't know anything about it.
That's not going to count for.
He's now forewarned.
Good.
When will turtles start hatching?
We're 2/3 done.
All right, okay.
Yeah, about 18 left.
Been on this cycle.
Hush falls over the crowd. The anticipation is just...
Countdown?
I got 30 seconds. I suppose I could start early. Please. Good evening, one and all. Welcome to City Council. I'd like to call it to order. 7 o'clock Tuesday, August 28th, year 2012. I'd like to ask everybody to please rise for an invocation and a pledge of allegiance. Let us bow our heads. O Heavenly Father, we ask that you look over and care for our children now in their new school year. Please guide their teachers so that their efforts enrich all of us. Keep us ever mindful that this city has nothing but the young and the young at heart. Also, please care for all of those that are in Isaac's Pass, those here in the Low Country and those in the Gulf. For it is in your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Marie, please call the roll.
Councilmember Birdwell.
Here.
Councilmember Vitelli.
Here.
Councilmember Buchanan.
Here.
Councilmember Carroll.
Here.
Councilmember Loftus.
Here.
Councilmember Stone.
Present.
Councilmember Thomas.
Here.
Councilmember Ward.
Here.
Mayor Cronin.
Present.
Administrator Tucker.
Here.
And Attorney Halverson. Here.
Thank you all. We even have the press with us tonight. Well, hopefully you can find something of substance to report on. We think so, anyhow. All right, let me move on to the reading of journals of previous meetings. You have in your package the special meeting of July 24th, the regular meeting of July 24th, and a special meeting held last week on August 21st. The minutes are in your package. Can I have a motion to approve or amend?
So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None heard. We're now at the point for citizens' comments. Is there anybody here that would like to address council at this time? All right, we're going to move fast. All right, good. No citizens' comments this time? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Please.
I know we have some folks in the audience and they're here for specific reasons and specific ordinances. And with that in mind, I'd like to make a motion to move up items A, 8, A, B, and C, and item 10, read next on the agenda.
Okay, we have a motion to reorder. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? None heard. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We're now going to consider second reading ordinance 2012-4. I'm going to read the headlines of it and hope that we make a motion to suspend the reading of the entire ordinance. But second reading ordinance 2012-4, an ordinance amending Title V, Planning and Development, Article 2, District Regulations, Section 5-4-37, Table of Permitted Uses in the Commercial District, City of Isle of Palms, Code of Ordinances for permitted outdoor sale of food and beverage in the GC3 zoning district by special exception pursuant to Section 5-4-5. So I'll make that as a motion.
Second.
Second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion on this? I think we heard from Douglas that we're just cleaning up some business that wasn't attended to well when this district was created, and I'm glad we're able to correct it now. So, any other discussion? None heard? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We're now up to item B on the hit parade, second reading of ordinance 2012-5, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $6.5 million, hard to say, $6.5 million, water and sewer system revenue bonds, Series 2012, the City of Isle of Palms, South Carolina. Provide for the use of the proceeds, provide for the terms and conditions upon which the Series 2012 bonds will be issued, to provide for the repayment thereof and security therefore, and to provide for the other matters in connection therewith. Who wrote all that?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to suspend the rules of order and combine second reading of ordinance 2012-05 and 2012-06 to
Second.
be combined.
Okay, motion to combine the two for consideration. Any motion and seconded, any discussion? None heard, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll move on to 2012-6, an ordinance amending and restating.
I think what we just did, just to
We'll put them all
correct me
together?
if I'm wrong, you combined them, you had a motion to suspend the rules and combine them. That motion passed, and now you need a motion
need to vote on
for
it.
second reading.
Correct. For second reading of 2000.
Both of them.
Oh, both of them,
Combined.
all right, fine. All right, can I have a motion to combine the two, 2012?
So moved.
2012-16,
And to approve it.
and to approve.
It's
Correct.
second
So
reading.
And second reading.
Second reading.
Suspending.
Suspending reading of the order. Thank you. All right, we got the words right. All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on these ordinances? None heard? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None heard? Motion's carried. Whew. Thank you all for coming. This may be the shortest time you guys had to spend in council. We're looking forward to the work that this money's going to produce for us, so go for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mayor, just so the public
Please.
knows why we suspended the rules.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
This was it. Good job.
Is that about 5 pounds worth of? Yeah.
It's at least a tree.
The small 4-inch breastplate tree.
Very good, thank you. Marty also reordered so that we'll take up miscellaneous business here, and this is a proposed, I wanted to mention that we have proposed changes to the commercial district recommended by the Planning Commission coming forward. They're not here yet because our legal staff, all of them, has been tied up doing other matters, particularly dealing with the Greenbelt program, et cetera. But we have some recommendations coming from the Planning Commission, in particular cleaning up some wording that's in our existing codes, in particular the one that meaningful, I'll read the term, it's the most meaningful change deals with the fact that when we eliminated hotels from the commercial zoning district, we did not change the related uses relative to rooming houses, boarding houses, and tourist homes. So that amendment to our existing codes will come forward at next month's process. So you're now informed as to why you haven't seen it thus far and what you will see when it does come forward. So, okay, let's go back to our normal course of business. We'll take up the Ways and Means Committee report. Ways and Means Committee met on 5/45 on the 21st. All were present except Councilman Stone, who was off having fun somewhere, I suspect.
Jealous, huh?
Yes, actually.
We all are.
The July financials were presented by our treasurer. The general fund expenditures are running for the 1 month, we're running at 6% of budget, whereas on a straight line basis, we should be at 8%, so we're under budget already through the first month. And the revenue side is equal to or greater than where we were at the same time last year. Our tourism schedules showed that we closed out FY11 municipal accommodations tax 13% ahead of prior year. Our state accommodations tax, we're ahead by 25%. There's a catch-up in that. It's not a pure number. We caught up with the state from the prior year, so that's also a correction, but it was a good year from the state accommodations tax also. And the Charleston County accommodations tax pass-through came in again at 13% over prior year. And our hospitality tax, food and beverage, came in at $548,000 and was 8% above the prior year. So the tourism-related funds were all well represented for the city in the course of the year. Our project status, both beach restoration and drainage, are moving on. Really, the only expenditure was in our drainage effort, where we're having some surveying work done, and that work is coming to. The surveying work is coming to a close. Are you meeting tomorrow or
That's correct.
sometime shortly to discuss the output of that? We then took up a number of subjects. Let me deal with them quickly here. One is the award of a contract I'll make in the form of a motion for Safe Industries in the amount of $27,086.31 for self-contained breathing apparatus. This is budget expenditures in using the state contracted pricing.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and second for breathing apparatus. Any discussion? None heard. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Award of a contract for Love Chevrolet in the amount of $18,953 for one 2012 Chevrolet Colorado regular cab for the BSOs. This is a budgeted expense, and it's again using the state funds. So I'll make that as a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? None heard. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Opposition? Motion carries. Thank you. We also had the award of a 5-year contract to DocuGraphics in the amount of $35,364 for new copiers for general government, fire, and police department. This is a budget expenditure and is under a state contracting and allows us to reduce the number of copiers used within general government and to combine under one contract all of our graphics, docu-graphics for both general government, fire, and police. So we have a savings to boot in addition to the equipment reduction. So I'll make that as a motion.
Second.
Motion seconded. Any discussion? None heard. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. And then we had discussion at Ways and Means, and we'll have more discussion tonight on the wayfinding efforts. You have now received in your package, and I'm digging for mine, here it is, a proposal from Stantec. Jerry Regenbogen, did I say that right? Regenbogen is here also. He's going to take up residence over here pretty soon. He's here enough. I'm going to ask the administrator to walk us through the proposal, and then Jerry can answer any questions we might have.
Let me, for the benefit of the audience, for those who've not been in attendance in the series of meetings, the city embarked on a wayfinding sign initiative initially, and it included the core area of the city, the thoughts being that many of our beach visitors, our day beach visitors who come to the island via the Isle of Palms Connector actually are not seeing the signs that get them to the three main public parking lots and the front beach area. And also the lack of the signs was causing some stacking on the connector. So our first step was to embark on this wayfinding initiative, and in doing so the city contracted with Stantec. Stantec is a full-service firm that has among its talent, traffic engineers, and people like Jerry that know a little bit more than the city staff does about how to do this. So we successfully completed step one of that plan. City Council approved the new signs, but getting the new signs and getting them installed on SCDOT right-of-way is contingent upon the city embracing a more long-term initiative towards wayfinding signs. Basically, SCDOT said we will consider these what we call non-traditional street signs that should be kind of eye-catching and a little simpler than what we have out there now. If, in fact, over a course of years, the city will commit to putting more of these signs, replacing more of your signs with light signs. In those discussions and through a series of meetings, too, we talked about beach access and the beach access parking initiative that the city has been working on basically since 2009. And it was part of the general discussion that it would be helpful to engage the services of Stantec and amend their contract to also begin to assist us with the huge body of work that has been done already to try to see if, in tandem with the wayfinding initiative, we might be able to begin to make small steps in addition to those we've done already towards progress to better manage our beach access parking. So in that regard, what you have before you tonight is a menu of combining the wayfinding initiative, expanding that scope to include more areas of the island, but also with that adding as a work task for Stantec to begin to look at the beach access parking problem that we're dealing with, and to begin to assist the city, not redo work that's already been done, but to take the body of work that the Planning Commission has worked on for so long, as well as City Council, and try to use that as a spring point to assist us with better tackling that problem. For the benefit of you all out there, you're all aware that Mount Pleasant has approved at least two more very large subdivisions, one of which is just on the opposite side of the connector near Hungry Neck Boulevard, and one that is just a little ways up Rifle Range Road. So we believe that that may mean that the beach visitor, beach access parking problem may end up becoming even more critical as time goes by. So what Council has before them for consideration is a menu of tasks to include moving forward with expanding the wayfinding sign and beginning to work with the city on the beach access parking initiative. Their work task beyond wayfinding sign would include reviewing the work that has been done already, and there is a huge body of work that has already been completed by the Planning Commission and City Council, and then beginning to meet with city staff to discuss ideas, try to mesh wayfinding signs and also the beach access parking, because what you do with parking, you need to be able to get people to those locations by appropriate wayfinding signs. So we see the two as working in tandem with one another, and then beginning to look at alternative solutions and possible implementation. The reason for tackling this way was because obviously the whole initiative for beach access parking and new signage throughout the island is a pretty big endeavor, and we wanted to take it in very small steps. So if at any time City Council or the community is not happy with the way it's going, we can back off, or if we are pleased with how things are going and it's beginning to work to accomplish the goals, then we have the ability to know what the next steps are going forward. So what we're requesting tonight is approval of the initial next step, which is $18,930 out of an approximately $50,000 total initiative, and this is over and above the $9,500 that we've already spent to begin that effort. It's $18,930. Just by way of updating all of you on the available funding, you will recall that we budgeted $30,000 for parking management. We didn't know what we were going to be doing with that, but we felt we needed a placeholder in the budget. And then we had $15,000 earmarked in the budget for signs. This is the budget prior to going forward with wayfinding. And then we basically got some municipal accommodations money associated with front beach signs too. Some of these signs will be at the front beach. So we started in the budget with $47,000. We have already committed to $9,500 of that with the previous Stantec, the original Stantec task, and then Council approved $18,400 for the initial signs. So we still have money available within the budget for the budget year that we're in now to use this $18,930 out of the balance of the funds that are on hand. And then when we begin to see the work product, if we like it, if council wishes to allocate some more money out of this year's budget, we can do that. Or next year, when we're working on the budget for next year, we can begin to plug these next step expenses into future budgets. So what we're asking for approval on tonight is $18,930 to get us started.
I'd make a motion to approve,
Second.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let's discuss this. I didn't, Jerry, why don't you come up here, because if not now, shortly, you're going to be called. I guess my question is, I didn't see a timeline on the parking study initiative or the wayfinding phase that we're now talking about here. How much time?
We feel that the combined components of the wayfinding and the parking components can be done before the end of the year, completed before the end of this fiscal year, or not, calendar year, rather.
Okay.
So,
There's a big difference.
Yeah, I realize. Before the end of the calendar year, so within about a 3-month period.
And clarifying, you're speaking about the Phase 2 portion.
The white portion.
That we are.
Yeah, mine's in color.
Okay.
The top.
The top.
Top third.
19.
Top.
One thing I would like to point out, and Linda very succinctly covered everything that I was going to talk about. So, one thing that we do want to point out is within this phase, it also includes getting an encroachment permit with SEDOT to implement the first phase of the signage that you approved last month. So at the end of that, we'll be able to install those signs as part of that.
Buying signs without the ability to install them doesn't
Yes.
doesn't do us much good. I'm very interested in your alternative solutions. Of course, you can't get there until you've done done the initial study work. So you think you'll be at a point by, I'll say Christmas time period, or let's say January.
Yes.
Let's get through the holidays.
To present to council some alternatives. And this is an iterative process. I mean, we're not going to start the process and come to you at the end with some solutions. We'll be working with staff, coming back to you with an intermediate presentation to present our preliminary findings as well. So we'll go through a series of presentations to share with you our thoughts. But we know that there's been an extensive, and we keep using the term body of work, and that's a great term. There's a lot of information that has been prepared and presented on a number of occasions, and we don't see the need to reinvent the wheel on something like this. There's a lot of good information there, and we see you're hiring us to help you get through a lot of that information and provide our expertise to be sort of the sounding board for these. But we've done a number of these in the past. We have thick skin, if you will, so we're ready to make some presentations to you once we've gone through the mounds of information that Douglas managed to get to us. But it's a lot of information, and we've started to go through it already with anticipation of starting to work with you. And once we have reviewed that information, then we hope to meet with staff, and if any of the other committee members of Public Safety Committee or whoever would like to participate in that process, certainly we would invite that. And then we would move into the additional, to the recommendations or the possible recommendations. We have a lot of information in hand, but there may be some other things that we need to obtain. And part of that will fall into play with the signage package that we were putting together. We'll be out on site looking at all the existing signs that are in place now, all the existing facilities that are in place now, so we combine those two. And that's thus the reason for blending the two proposals together, so they do work hand in hand. So at the end of, let's say Christmas, let's make that a goal, that we'll have a signage ordinance in hand to implement the first phase, and we'll have alternative solutions to you to resolve the beach access parking issues that you have now.
Okay. Other questions?
Question, Mr. Mayor.
Please.
Jerry, I spent a lot of time on your website, and number one, I'm very excited that y'all are taking on this task force. Have you, community-wise, of this size and with the tourism that's coming in here, have y'all had other projects similar to that? I couldn't find one, but I like what I've seen on your website.
I was just bragging, if you will, to Marty that we did the Montague Avenue streetscape, which is in North Charleston off of Park Circle. And with that, there were major parking issues associated with that. When we started the project, there weren't any parking issues. And the project has been so successful, now people are complaining that there aren't enough parking spaces there. So we have worked through some of those issues as well to have helped them to find some solutions to the parking problems we sort of created, I guess you might say, in a positive way. And we just recently finished it. It's not on the same scale as the Isle of Palms, but we did a parking study for Joint Base Charleston, which was 27,000 acres of military and federal facilities, and we looked at all the parking issues that they had there and helped them to resolve those as well.
They have a command structure that is artillery, so.
Thank you, Mayor. Jerry, as far as, just keeping an eye on the budget and so we can, plan accordingly, as far as reimbursable expenses, can you give us I'm not trying to nail you down, but an estimate of what we could expect for each phase like that?
The first phase, the first signage phase that we developed for you, we had, if you recall, we had a series of boards, and that's really where most of the reimbursable expenses are. There are different options there. If you'd like to see boards and have hands-on, those could probably be about $500, I would say. If you're comfortable with a PowerPoint presentation of the same information, it's $25, so a lot less. So it really depends on whether you want to have these hard boards to work with and to keep for the public to review, and certainly that has merit in itself. So I would say about $500, and again, it's mostly for production of those boards.
Very good.
Mr. Mayor, real quick, just curious, on this SCDOT encroachment fee of $500, am I reading that right? That's the,
Yes, that's our effort.
Yeah, that's for them, that's not.
okay.
That's not to
That
pay-
doesn't
You think
go
your
to
business
SCDOT, yeah.
No, we're not
Well,
pay-
I was going to write them a letter and start charging them for every sign that's in my right-of-way.
That's our effort to
Understood now.
to create the application.
Thank you.
All right, I think it's a worthwhile undertaking. Brian?
As do I. I think it's a great, something we need to attack, with 593 homes going on in Oyster Point here, and Carolina Park, a number of developments. One of the biggest problems we have to discuss when we discuss beach management parking is our encroachments in their rights of way. And obviously, we can't do anything with any beach management parking until we work with SCDOT on that. We got to kind of our hands tied in this whole project. This whole thing will be moot without it. And that's one thing I really, and I've talked to the administrator about it, is that's one thing I really encourage not only yourself, but the mayor and some of our other, political figures here in the island to, to get DOT to work with us in managing this problem.
And I had that on my list of things to talk about, and I didn't get to that tonight, but I'll show it to you later. But we do have that. Definitely, that'll be an important consideration for us. And we have a pretty strong relationship with SCDOT, and hopefully we can use that relationship to help leverage some of these decisions.
Thanks, Chair.
Good, we're looking forward to it. All right, any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, spending $18,930 for these two phases with Stantec, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. I don't think I can top that with any more Ways and Means. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything because it's so much important. The only other thing we did in Ways and Means is we did approve the FY13 CARTA budget that passed unanimously. So CARTA is often, I won't say running, but they're rolling, right?
Actually, Mr. Mayor, rolling better than ever because we received a grant that we had been working for. It's a federal grant that was available to the entire state, but since no one else applied for it, we got several $1 million, and CARTA had established a line of credit, which CARTA has now been able to pay off, which is, due to federal funding, it comes around, but this is making us even a lot earlier than we usually are.
Very good. All right, we closed out our meeting on the 21st and adjourned. Our next meeting will be next month. I don't know what the date is.
September 18th.
18th of September, thank you. All right, let's move on. Public Safety Committee, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The committee met despite your excused absence. We did miss you in that
I
meeting.
know.
However, we discussed the wayfinding signs and Stantec's proposal, which we just acted on. We had an update on the no parking delineation on Avenues 42nd to 57th. And the Chief Buchanan has worked with SCDOT, and they're going to be putting in some no parking here to corner signs. They've been approved, but again, they're not here yet, but they're coming. We also discussed the no parking on pavement in that same area, and we sent that on to asked the city administrator to task the city attorney with crafting an ordinance for that. This is one section of the island where we don't have that ordinance. An oversight of some sorts that's just been there for years and years. We've got an update on consolidated dispatch. We'll be going to that. Actually, we're not going to consolidated dispatch. We're going with the TriTech CAD system, which the county's using on September 25th. We'll go live, and this is going to sync we'll be looking at what they're looking at when these reports come through on the mobile data terminals. And we'll be getting some mobile data terminals. Fire, police dispatches will be getting some more certification training classes. The other thing we talked about was if your house does not have a house number on it, and this is just good common sense. I know a lot of houses have been here a long time, some have been remodeled. Make sure you have clearly visible house numbers on your house. That makes a big difference, particularly in this day and age when people have cell phones. Short-term rentals, long-term rentals, make sure those folks know what address they're at, particularly the short-term. Talked about overflow parking at the marina, and city administrator was copying SCDOT on some of the parking opportunities we have on Waterway Boulevard in that area. And I think some of the tenants at the marina have taken steps to alleviate part of that problem already. And also under new business, didn't talk about consideration of extending the kiosk hours until 7 o'clock. We've got a lot of research to do on that, but we're thinking that might help alleviate some of the congestion problems when everyone is trying to get down right when those meters go free in the afternoon. But that's something we'll be looking at, talking to residents, and particularly the merchants down there. We need their input, so this is a long-term thing. We considered contracts in excess of $10,000, which we also acted on, the self-contained breathing apparatus and the Colorado truck. We went over the highlights of the departmental reports. Major calls in the month of July for the fire department. We're responding to and stabilizing the person who jumped from the top floor of Coconut Joe's on July 8th. And responding to a motor vehicle accident involving a car and a golf cart. And I believe the operator of the golf cart was ticketed in that situation. For the month, personnel responded to 167 calls, with 81 of those being EMS calls. The fire inspector performed 11 inspections and found 11 violations. The radio system is currently undergoing coverage acceptance testing, and that was going to take about 2 to 3 weeks to complete, so we should be getting towards the end of that. For the police department, first of all, we told Chief B he was doing a good job of keeping alcohol off the beach and off of the roads on the island. We don't have the problems that other communities have, and I think that's because the whole island years ago determined that we didn't need alcohol on the beach and have a better beach because of that. July was a busy month for the department. Had incidents, theft from vehicles, petite larceny, underage possession of alcohol, and burglary. In the month, the dispatchers received 5,422 calls. Of those, 4,076 were for the police department. Had 346 traffic stops and 117 tickets were written. 37 arrests were made during the month. 12 noise complaints were made and 6 warnings were given because of those. And currently the police department has 2 officers attending the police academy in Columbia. And because of an earlier workshop, the police had been patrolling the area behind Island Center. They're actually getting out of the vehicles and walking that area. To date, they have found no one back there that shouldn't be back there. Our next meeting will be at 5 o'clock, September 11th. And I would also like to mention the police department will be holding a meet and greet It's going to be Thursday, August 30th, from 6 to 7 p.m. in the St. Mark's Lutheran Church parking lot. This is for residences on 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th Avenues and the 100 to 500 blocks of Charleston Boulevard and the 100 to 500 blocks of Carolina Boulevard. So help us partner with the police to make this island an even safer place to be.
Very good.
Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
Jimmy?
We're concerned about extending the hours on the parking kiosks. I understand it's early, but I'm just letting you know early. Okay. And I'm looking at the language. It says, these situations primarily occur on the weekends with large groups coming and creating havoc on Front Beach.
Yes.
I missed it.
We got that from the police department.
Police department? Okay, because I know a lot of, Councilman Bergworth said that she knows of a lot of residents don't come to the Front Beach till their meters are off. So do I. A lot.
And this is a consideration that we're concerned about.
Well, I won't waste any more of your time with it tonight, but thank you for letting me express my opinion on it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any other? All right, moving on. Public Works, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Public Works meeting met August 7th. We had some citizens' comments. Mr. Jim Owens come up and spoke. It's always great to hear from him. Also, Wayne Mosley from the Red and White spoke. He's concerned about some of the drainage issues that we have and potholes along 18th and Casino, and we said they would look into trying to alleviate some of that for him and gather some more information. For department reports, we had a June and July report, and Director Pitts noted that the debris collection got behind in the week immediately following Memorial Day and 4th of July, caused them to run about additional 6-hour shift for each of those weeks. In both June and July, the department ran many beach sweeps to remove a large amount of metal from the beach in the form of discarded chairs, tents, umbrellas, and we need to get those things off the beach. A good note, the fiscal year we ended, the vehicle maintenance report was approximately under $20,000 under budget. And while the single stream recycling that is in the first half of the island has been well received, and we can't wait for the second half to pick it up. But we can see where perhaps we would need some of those houses, some more bins as well.
Right.
And we have contacted, or we as an administrator has contacted Charleston County.
It's amazing where we had one little bin before, now you give them a 98-gallon bin or whatever it is, and it's full and flowing over. Where was it before?
Correct. In the garbage.
In the regular garbage.
So we hopefully we'll get the rest of the island on single stream. But with that, we'll be able to see a decrease in the volume of tonnage that we have in refuge going on as well. We had an update on drainage from Hartnett Boulevard. The repairs and the drainage have been complete at significantly lower price than what was quoted, and that turned out well. We did have some discussion about recycling containers and yard waste and trying to create ordinances similar to that of the garbage bins, that they need to be on and off the curb at certain times. I think it was moved that it was actually discussed, and then we're waiting for the whole island to be on the single stream until we approach that.
If I could say something real quick about
Yes,
the
sir.
recycling. I had 6 bins. Now I only have one 55-gallon bucket, so mine fills up. And I don't have the bins to take them down to the recycling anymore. I can't carry the 55-gallon unit down there. So
Do you still have the bins you had before?
No, they
take them.
Well,
They don't always take them.
you didn't have to give them to them, but okay, they're gone.
They're gone.
I think you can still pick them
They
up.
overflowed and used the bins, and they took them.
You can still get them from Charleston County. So if you need some more.
I think we have some at Public Works.
I was going to say,
Actually, probably some Public Works.
Public Works.
That you can give them.
We did have under new. I'm sorry. Good. Under new
Thank you,
business,
yes.
we had discussion of the 41st Avenue ditch. We've had some problems with the ditch where we've had some silting that comes out at the outlet. And a resident wanted some compensation for that, of the dredging that had gone on in there. We had directed the administrator to gather more information and history on that before we came forward with any more decisions. We had some discussion of our street sweeping contract. The city changed contractors when the contract was rebid a couple years ago, and then by going with the lowest bid, the city saved a lot of money, but the work has not been as satisfactory, so sometimes you get what you pay for. So we're just the administrator wanted us to be aware of that. While sometimes the street sweepers come out and sweep, it doesn't look like much is done. So we have to request them to come out and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. So that may come up in future discussion before the end of this budget year to either go with somebody else or continue to work with these guys. And so we're just FYI.
Have we put them on notice?
Many times. So, but it would be a budgetary impact though, because this was the lowest bid, and the folks that we were using it from out of Somerville, when they were not the lowest anymore, they had to close shop and move on. So there's not a market for street sweeping here in the area. And that's basically it. Our next meeting date is Thursday, September 6th at 5 o'clock.
Okay, thank you. While we're talking about Public Works, I wanted to brief everybody. You have in your package the information from the Transportation Sales Tax Program FY13 Annual Allocation Project. And the item of note is on, I guess, the next to last page, I'd say 2 or 3, under the title of carryover projects. And this has to do with the Alapalm/Rifle Range widening at the intersection that we're talking about.
5 Lane Stone.
That project is, the engineering's done. That's the good news. The bad news is, with the engineering comes the cost estimate, and the estimate is $2,520,500. $2.5 million project to redo that intersection. For which they have accumulated, after approval from last night's meeting, they had a meeting last night of the $200,000, roughly $500,000. So we got years to go before there's enough money to put that all in place. So we have to reprioritize within their scheme or do something. But those are the facts as they stand. Okay. Recreation Committee.
The Recreation Committee held this meeting August 9th, and everyone was in attendance. Every month, I tell you, the Rec Department's busy, and once again, the Rec Department is the center of the heart of the community and busy as ever. They're gearing up for the fall for adult and youth registration for softball, 3-on-3 basketball, soccer, table tennis. It's so popular that they've expanded it. Youth soccer is registering 3-year-olds through 12-year-olds. As in past years, the IOP Beach Run was a huge success with 392 runners and 60 participants in the fun run. The 4th annual half rubber tournament, August 8th, just went successfully completed with 14 teams. It goes on and on. We have a bunch of new programs. If you haven't picked it up, please get your new schedule. There's over 100 offerings here, so as I said before, if you can't find something at the Rec, you're just not looking hard enough. One of the new interesting selections is the IOP TV production crew, which is being taught by Garia and Doug Wilmer. This is going to have youngsters learning how to work in front of the camera, behind the camera, and end up maybe on Channel 60. They'll be doing the Easter egg hunt, I'm sure, and the Christmas tree lighting and other events, which is great. The Wellness Fair is coming up September 13th. Please take advantage of that, 7 a.m. to 11. Again, the Rec Department is teaming up with East Cooper Medical to provide blood work, healthcare professionals, and free screenings to attendees. And we go on, and then above and beyond, the Rec Department also takes care of the message boards, if you're not aware of that. So that's my way of finding out where I need to be and when. And also the White Line Fever, which is that line on Palm Boulevard every Thursday just before it rains, that they managed to get out there and put for parking. So in old business, we talked about the new lights are coming along fine, and hopefully they'll be in use for the fall programs. Once again, just something in this, I want to mention we're having a photo contest. So we have one of the winners, the mayor. We're looking forward to more good photos of the island and the deadline's November 9th, so get your iPhones out and get those pictures in. We are not having a meeting in September. The rec department, frankly, is so busy. We're putting that meeting off till October 11th, which is Thursday, 4 p.m.
Thank you. At the Wellness Fair, I'm looking at Norma Jean here. Anybody who shows up can get a flu shot. There's a cost to it, but it's available right there on the spot. You don't have to leave the island to get your flu shot. Okay. And I'm not giving them.
Giving or getting?
Well, I'll get one. I just don't give them. All right.
That's good news.
That's good news. That's right. Anything for the rec? Nothing? All right, let's move on to Personnel Committee, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Personnel Committee met at 9 a.m. Tuesday, August 7th, 2012, in the conference room at the City Hall. Attending the meeting were Councilman Patelli, Stone, and Chair Thomas, City Clerk Copeland, Assistant Administrator Zubin, and City Administrator Tucker. A quorum was present. Chair Thomas called the meeting into order and acknowledged the press and the public have been duly informed in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act. The minutes to the July 9th meeting were passed unanimously. There were no citizens' comments. And under old business, a discussion took place scheduling interviews for the 2013 appointments to the boards and commissions. Advertisements will be appearing in both the Moultrie News and the Island Eye notifying the residents of openings. Letters will be sent to all the members whose terms are expiring and asking them if they would like to be reappointed, serve on another board or commission, or not be considered. The deadline for return of the letters is August 31st. There is a potential of 8 seats to be filled. A list of available positions is attached to the historical record of this meeting. The interviews for new applicants will take place Monday, October 1st and 8th, and will be scheduled every 45 minutes, preferably during the day. A list of suggested interview subjects is available. There was no new business, and the next meeting date will be 9 a.m. Thursday, September 6th in the conference room. Now, the safety sweepstakes winners are Recreation, Carrie Farrell, Police Department, Robert Nelson, Public Works, Willie Powell, and Fire Department, Taiwan Hayward.
Very good. Any questions for personnel?
Comments? In the past, we've always had interviews for people with boards and commissions in the evening, so people who work full-time would have an opportunity to participate in the government. And so, I'd like to make sure that option is available to residents so they know that. So I'd hate to see someone not move forward to become a member of the board or commission because the interviews are during the day and they can't take off time from work.
Right, that won't happen. If somebody wants to interview, we'll find the time to interview them. And our goal is to do it as much as possible during the day, but if somebody shows an interest and turns in that they'd like to have an interview and put their name in for a position, we'll talk to them.
Okay, great.
Mr. Mayor?
Please.
Today's the 28th, the deadline's on the 31st. How are we doing with applications?
I'm not real sure at this point. Linda?
I don't know what the status is at this point either. We didn't check them prior to this meeting.
Just curiosity more than anything.
Could I ask another question?
Sure.
Will we be contacting previous applicants to see if they're still interested?
Yes, that's one of the things that we do.
Make sure that-
We send them letters and we ask them if they want to continue to serve or if they are interested in an alternate committee. So they have both of those.
And that's the
options.
deadline we're talking about, not a deadline to apply for a committee. It's the deadline,
August 31st is the application.
return of the letters.
Well, there were ads in the paper as well for
Okay.
August 31st.
I missed that.
My understanding is the deadline to apply is
Yeah,
August.
Okay, that's correct.
Okay.
I might add, if anybody knows anybody that they feel would be,
You put their name in, right.
get their name in.
Arm twisting work.
Especially if they're out of town.
All right, let's have the Real Property Committee report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Real Property met on August 15th at 5 p.m. All members of the committee were present. There were public comments from Will Millman, Charles Jones, Philip Smith, and Ronnie Hearn, and most of the comments had to deal with parking on Ocean Avenue and their opposition to that. Under old business, parking on Ocean Avenue and areas for visitor parking was an item of the discussion. Okay, there seems to be some confusion about that City Council is moving to add additional parking for visitors, and I don't believe anyone on City Council has expressed that opinion, and so, just so people who, may be viewing this know that I think the city is looking at a island-wide comprehensive plan as far as parking, and the intention is not to create additional parking. The intention is to manage parking better for the quality of life of the residents. Okay. Councilman Stone made a motion to remove visitor parking from the real property agenda moving forward, and that was passed. The city reviewed off-season use of city parking lots as far as parking RVs to generate income. After a due diligence by the city administrator and her team, the numbers just did not work to make sense for us to move forward in that direction, so you'll have to park your RV somewhere else. The conceptual plan for the marina was on the agenda. Unfortunately, we did not have a representative for the marina present, so that was moved forward to the next meeting. There were modifications recommended for the marina lease. 4 main points was let the store establish hours of operation, revise the language for contract of sale of selling beer and tobacco products, have indoor seating for 12 chairs, and also have the marina store and the marina on the same lease terms. Under new business, Phil Smith made a request to have the city reimburse him for dredging work performed on his area due to the excessive drainage from the ditch. What happened is that a lot of discussion in trying to figure out the cause of that. We've asked Linda to put together an action point and time study of the project so we can really study that before moving forward. Councilman Stone made a motion to reimburse Mr. Smith after that, and the motion died for lack of a second. There was also a discussion on the marina parking. I see that's moved over to other committees. And Morgan Creek Grill, the challenge is Morgan Creek Grill's business has been pretty strong in requiring their employees to park outside the marina. And they're going to make an effort to encourage their employees to park on 41st Avenue, which hopefully resolve the pressure on parking on Waterway Boulevard. Replacement of docks for the tidalway was on the agenda. We really didn't move too further in that because we feel there's part of it, the overall looking at the entire dock configuration this needs to be a subset of that, not an independent. So we'll make sure we're on the same page and satisfies that. So, next meeting is set for September 13th at 5 p.m.
Just if I may, point of clarification, I made a motion to remove parking on the ocean side of Ocean Boulevard from our agenda, not parking and visitor parking completely. Just simply, I don't want to open up any parking on Ocean Boulevard, and everyone concurred and remove that.
Okay, duly noted.
Thank you.
Any other points for Real Property Committee? No further points? Moving on. We're nearing the end. We have reports of standing boards and commissions. You have the Board of Zoning Appeal minutes and the Planning Commission minutes. Any questions, concerns for them? None heard. Remaining item on our hit parade is a resolution for the adoption of the revised Charleston Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan, which I hope by now everybody's had a chance to dream on or whatever.
For the public's benefit, is that big white book sitting on the back of the table.
Oh, boy.
It's also available online if you would like to.
All right, I'll ask you to read the proclamation.
Whereas the city,
resolution.
Whereas the City of Isle of Palms has experienced the effects of natural and man-made hazard events, and whereas the Charleston Regional Hazard Mitigation Project Committee has prepared and recommended Charleston Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan, and whereas the recommended Charleston Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan has been widely circulated for review by residents, businesses, business organizations, professional organizations of the unincorporated and incorporated areas of Charleston County, state, federal, regional, and local government agencies, and has been supported by those reviewers. And whereas the City of Isle of Palms originally adopted the Charleston Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan in 1999 and readopted it in 2004, and is required to adopt the amended version of the plan on a 5-year cycle for the county and the City of Isle of Palms, for the county and the City of Isle of Palms to remain eligible for certain federal programs in which Charleston County participates. And now therefore be it resolved that the Charleston Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan is hereby adopted as an official plan of the City of Isle of Palms, and 2, the Charleston Regional Hazard Mitigation Project Committee is recognized as a continuing entity charged with reviewing, maintaining, in accordance with the Community Rating System, flood mitigation assistance, and disaster mitigation requirements, and periodically reporting on the progress towards and revisions to the plan of the Isle of Palms City Council, effective this 28th day of August 2012.
Didn't take a
I
breath.
saw her take a breath.
Did she? Did she? I didn't see that one. Oh, very
Move for
good.
adoption.
Second.
Motion and seconded. I hope everybody, if you haven't had a chance, it is on the website for the county. I was pleased with our contribution to the plan, frankly. I studied other people's plans, and they were not near as comprehensive in their work effort and actual actions that were taken in the last 4 or 5 years. So I think we stand tall in the mitigation world. So, all right, all in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None heard? As you can see, the body of council is packing up here, so I have nothing else on the
I got
agenda.
one more thing.
Please.
I would like to congratulate Linda and her staff for the 104% and 105% safety audit
Safety, yes.
that the city was able to achieve. When they say that we work, 105%, we mean it. And that what that does is helps to lower our premiums, and which ultimately helps to keep our taxes lower than the city.
Exactly.
It's a good job.
I don't know what the bonus points were for, but always good to get them.
We got the bonus.
Extra credit.
Mr.
All
Mayor,
right, thank you.
just
Please.
a quick comment. We really didn't go into the Board of Zoning Appeals agenda, but I think it's noteworthy for public to know that the water tower work is proceeding and that the antennas have been approved, and the public will see some activity with the water towers, antennae coming off of the water towers, being temporarily positioned on 2 additional temporary towers until somewhere around March something or other. The water tower is worked on, so we won't lose our 911 service, telephone service, and other ancillary services.
And
Just so
those
you-
temporary towers are going to be 150 feet tall, so they'll be taller than the existing water towers. So.
They're temporary.
Yeah, can you say that again?
All right, good point. All right. Any other things brought before council? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
We're out of here. Thank you one and all for coming.
Big fat packet under an hour.
We made it.
Yeah, nice.
We made it. Less than a...